Okay, we now have yet again more information on the food stamp situation for November with an overnight ruling out of the Supreme Court. So I want to bring it to your attention here because remember, Supreme Court rules all, and their ruling that came in overnight is actually very, very influential for the food stamp program for the month of November, SNAP benefits, and what's going to happen here. Now, I also have some more information that I want to share with you as well that coincides with this ruling out of the Supreme Court, because some people out there might think, hey, I already got my full benefit. Yeah, let's talk about that here in a minute, because we've got a major situation playing out on our hands. Even if some people have already received their full benefit, I'm explaining exactly what happened yesterday, as it's looking very, very interesting, maybe not in a good way. We'll come back to that here in just a second. Okay. The overnight ruling out of the Supreme Court. Let me back up just a little bit to yesterday afternoon to kind of give all this context as far as where we're currently at as of right now, because this continues to develop very, very rapidly. Okay, remember yesterday in the live stream, I had multiple live streams yesterday because things kept changing. But anyway, long story short is that yesterday afternoon, the administration, as in USDA, sent out a memo to states and said, yep, we're getting the extra $4 billion. We will put it aside for the states to start grabbing basically by tonight. This was yesterday, by the way. The states indicated by tonight that they would have the money available for states to start drawing upon to send out the full 100% benefit to the beneficiaries, basically starting now, okay? Well, as soon as the USDA sent out that memo, a bunch of states started coming in and requesting 100% of the monthly benefit for their beneficiaries, okay? So just keep that in mind there for a second. We're going to come back to that in just a second here. I just want you to have context as far as where we're at. Okay, so moments after that was released, as in that memo out of USDA to the states, suggesting the full issuance of November SNAP benefits for beneficiaries, literally not that much longer, the administration called in the Supreme Court and had them intervene to block a lower court order that came out on Thursday from the district federal judge out of the state of Rhode Island, right? We talked about this many times over the last several days here, but this lower court, the district judge, came in and ordered the administration to fulfill full SNAP benefits for the month of November and basically have the money available by Friday evening, okay? That was the lower court. But the administration last night called in the Supreme Court and said, you need to overrule / block the ruling out of the lower court, and basically we need a decision by 9:30 p.m. tonight. This was last night. Well, sure enough, late last night, the Supreme Court comes in and they blocked the lower court order. So literally the Supreme Court they overruled, right? So they override the ruling out of the lower court. Supreme Court rules all, as I said earlier, right? So anyway, Supreme Court rules all. They blocked the order out of the lower court to send out full benefit. Okay, so like, didn't you just say that we were going to get the full benefit for the month of November? Isn't that literally what the administration sent out in that memo yesterday? Yes, true. That's literally what they said yesterday in the memo that sent out to all the states, but yet, and they complied. They said that they were going to do it in conjunction with the order out of the lower court, the district federal judge out of Rhode Island, John McConnell, right? We talked about that many times over the last several days, and as the information was coming across, I was bringing it to you. But now the Supreme Court has gotten involved, and they're overriding that ruling out of the lower court. What does that basically mean? It basically means that until they hash this out, until they determine this and basically come to an agreement in court, this is on pause. So a temporary stay, in other words, pausing, blocking, holding right here, right now, they've held this ruling out of the lower court, if that makes sense. Okay, so the Supreme Court has come in and basically said, you don't need to do it. You don't have to do the full benefit for the month of November. That's the ruling out of the Supreme Court. And basically, again, they rule all. Okay. Now, you got that information. That's the overnight ruling here, okay? Now let's come back really quickly and finish the story on what I said a little while ago, which is this. Yesterday afternoon, USDA sends out the memo to states. States then start coming in and requesting, like right away, not all the states, but a bunch of them did, come in to the portal to start requesting 100% of the money that they need for the full benefit for the month of November. Okay, so then some states basically request the money, but here's what happened. In the example of Wisconsin, I'm going to use Wisconsin for an example because this is a classic example of what happened here. Wisconsin comes in, they request 100% of the full benefit. The private processor who processes the money goes out and basically adjudicates the money, right? So basically says, sure, here you go, approved, here's the $20 million that you need or whatever it is, right? Meanwhile, in the back end, the USDA declines the letter or the file to get the money. Okay, so they decline it, but yet the private processor basically adjudicates the claim. In other words, says, sure, go ahead, you can have it. So then what happens is that when it all settles, they find out that, oh, wait, Wisconsin, in this example, has overdrawn their file line, in other words, their credit line, by $20 million. So they literally went in the hole by $20 million and overdrew their account. Let me say this in better terms here so that we can all understand this. You have a bank account. I have a bank account. We have $20 in our bank account. We write a check for $1,000. The person that we give the check to, they think that they've got $1,000, right? They go to deposit or cash the check, and it's a hot check, right? That sucker bounces up to the stratosphere because it's a hot check and it's not good, right? In other words, what I mean by this is we have $20 in our account. We wrote a check for $1,000. Now we just overdrew our account by $980, right? We're in the hole. Wisconsin literally did this yesterday with the food stamp program and the money, okay? They were basically approved to take the money and to get the money, but yet they didn't necessarily have the money available. So they overdrew their file line by $20 million, literally negative $20 million sitting there. So this is why you're seeing some of the states that are coming out, sending out full benefits. In fact, there's a handful of states out there that have, in fact, sent out full benefits. For example, Wisconsin, California, Colorado, Pennsylvania, possibly New Jersey. I've not seen New Jersey on an official list, but I have seen some of you here in the community reaching out saying, New Jersey here got my full benefit. Okay, so not all the states, but there's a handful of maybe like 6 or so states that have issued full benefits. There's a variety of reasons why this could be happening. Number one is because this reason I literally just pointed out right there. The money basically was sent to them and the money wasn't available. They sent out the money and now it's gone, or it's gone from the state. They basically sent it to the beneficiaries. So beneficiaries are getting it and sending it out. Some other states out there are also taking money out of their own accounts and basically funding the other 50% that USDA did not cover from the partial payment that was made earlier in the week. Does this all that make sense? But then again, in the live stream that I had last night, in fact, I had my wife join. Okay, so I was just about to wrap up the live stream. She stepped in and said, I'm reading comments down below. Some people are saying that they got 100% of their benefit, things like this. This is why, a variety of reasons why this could be happening, for the reasons that is explained here. But as I also mentioned in the live streams recently as well, last night, most notably, and in other live stream, which is this. Unfortunately, because of the way that the food stamp program is administered, federally funded, but state administered, there's going to be a number of states that send out full benefits. There's going to be a whole pile of states that send out partial benefits. And unfortunately, there's going to be some states that send out virtually nothing to their beneficiaries. So we're going to see this massive, massive divide. And I've been saying this for a while, great program, but because it is administered on the state by state level, we're going to see this massive divide across the country where some people are fine, high and dry, getting their full benefit. Other people are going to see minimal benefits or nothing for the entire month, right? That's why it's going to be a very, very tough situation for a lot of people. I would say that the majority of people are going to probably get a partial payment. A small number of people are going to get, well, their full benefit. It's a handful of states at this point. And then again, there's also going to be roughly about 5 million households that are going to get absolutely nothing, okay? And again, this is where we're at right now. This is what we know as of right now with the temporary stay, as in blockage, of the lower court ruling from John McConnell on Thursday to issue full benefits to beneficiaries and the money to be available by last night. Supreme Court overruling that and blocking the order out of the lower court. And that's where we stand as of right now. So as of right now, to wrap this all up and figure out where are we currently at right now and what does this actually mean? Here's what it means. we got partial payments, okay? USDA authorized the partial payment earlier in the week, okay? The $4.65 billion is what they authorized. That partial payment went out to states, to beneficiaries. So you should get a minimum of a partial payments. Some states issuing full payments for a variety of reasons, okay? And then a bunch of states, again, sending out partials / maybe even nothing to about 5 million households. That's where we're at as of right now. There's likely going to be significantly more updates throughout the day today, I would imagine. This is all still very much developing right now. It's a very, very interesting situation. But basically, here's what happened. They're asking, the lower courts are calling on the administration to tap into the $23 billion child nutrition programs. That's where they're looking to get the extra $4.5 billion. They're asking them to dip into the $23 billion, take $4.5 billion out of that, send it out in the form of food stamps for the month of November. And the administration and basically the other programs are saying, we cannot legally do this. It is going to jeopardize these other child nutrition programs, and we cannot do that because once the money's gone, it's not going to be reappropriated into the account, therefore putting these child nutrition programs at risk of not having enough money for the upcoming year. Make sense? Probably not, because honestly, it's very confusing. So anyway, so I want you to know this latest ruling here. This came out of the Supreme Court. I'll certainly keep you posted as we get more information. A lot of weird things happening. I hope this helps you. If you have not done so, please consider subscribing. 100% free. Big subscribe button down below. Please share the video. Big share button down below. Stay tuned throughout the day today. There's going to be more updates on this. I would not be shocked. I'll continue to keep you updated. Again, thank you so much for watching this. Really appreciate all of you. Have a nice day. Drop your comments, your questions, your feedback down below, by the way, and let me know what I can do to help you through this. I can jump on more live streams, no problem whatsoever. Otherwise, enjoy. Have a good day. Don't